Good morning, guys. It is Nick Mulbauer here, and as a precursor to a crappie video I'll be putting out this Thursday, I thought I would talk about some of the things that aligned that made that a successful trip. There were a lot of things that were happening before I even sat in my kayak that I was paying attention to before I even decided to go to this lake. So I've not crappie fished for probably about four months. I haven't crappie fished since early May, and there are a couple of reasons for that. So in the summer, crappie fishing in my area gets really tough, and there are just not a lot of lakes within close proximity of me that I feel like have the correct features to be crappie fishing in the summer with the means I have to crappie fish. And what I mean by that is a lot of crappie go out deep and suspend unless they have things to gravitate to. And based on a lot of the videos I've watched on how to summer crappie fish, a lot of the gentlemen who are catching these fish in the summer are doing one of three things. They are, of course, using live scope on really deep brush or deep brush piles, deep cover. They are fishing bridge piers and they are fishing docks. I just do not have those features within a close drive of me. And what I mean by a close drive is I don't really have that within a half hour of me that I think will be successful. We don't have lakes with a lot of docks on them. We don't have lakes with bridge piers. And the one lake I'm thinking of, one or two lakes that do have bridge piers, these bridges are like way off the water. And I think that'll make it like less successful. Because what those crappie do in the summer, what makes them more predictable, I think, based on shooting docks and fishing bridge piers, is that those crappie are relating to the shade that is tossed by these man-made structures, and we just don't have that here. That's why I've not been crappie fishing all summer. I've yet to figure out a strategy that successfully and efficiently catches crappie in the summer. That's just something I have to work on. That's something I have to figure out, and that is videos into the future, I suppose. It's quite a crapshoot. I can find better ways to use my time on the water. That being said, what I did all summer was I just improved my bass game. 5 months later, here we are, and it is now September. There have been some very obvious changes in the weather. You can just feel fall coming on. You know winter's coming, and those changes really get me in gear to start targeting those crappie again. So what were a couple of the things that were going on that were precursors to me going on this trip? Well, for once, the weatherman was actually pretty darn accurate, and the weather that they were forecasting for Sunday held, and it just looked appealing to me. 3-4 days out from the trip, I was like, I'm going. I know where I'm going. I know what I'm going to do. If this weather holds, I'm going. So there are three things going for this trip. Low wind. The wind was forecast to be 5 to 10 mile an hour. And the closer we got to Sunday, it held, and I think the highest wind forecasted for that day was 6 mile an hour. And that's just ideal. That will create a little bit of wave, a little bit of chop, just the tiniest bit of chop, but it won't interfere with my ability to cast accurately. I won't be having to reposition my kayak constantly. It's just ideal. Second thing was cloud cover. The weatherman forecasted that all morning it was supposed to be cloudy with a chance of rain in the afternoon. So just cloudy all day. And what that does is clouds tend to keep crappie suspended higher in the water column. So I don't have to let that jig sink down as many feet. And I like that because the more depth that jig falls to, the more likely I'm going to be getting into some limbs that I'm not going to be able to pull my jig out of. 4 or 5 feet deep, if I'm letting my jig settle down 4 or 5 feet, I can generally go get my jig pulled out because I can just push the rod tip slightly down into the water and pull jigs out of trees because those crappie are relating to those trees. It's annoying as heck having to deal with those trees, but you know what? If the trees weren't there, the crappie wouldn't be there either. So it's a give and take kind of deal. But the deal is, if that cloud cover stays over top, those fish are higher in the water column, and I can catch them easier because I don't have to let my jig fall nearly as far. The other thing I was looking at that made this trip very appealing was I knew that we have not had rain in central Iowa for a month or longer. And what that does is it allows the lakes to really clear out. We've not had insane winds, we've not had rain, we've not had a lot of the natural elements that stir these lakes up and dirty them up. Those elements have not existed in our area in the last month. So I know that a lot of our local lakes are probably some of the best clarity they may have all year. They're really starting to clear up. And for crappie fishing, I love having a lake that is on the clearer end, 2-3 foot, at the max, and a bit of stain. What that does is that allows your lure, your jig, to kind of blend in, but it also allows it to be seen, and those fish will follow it out and give the old crappie thumb. So that was the third thing. Last thing, again, I said there was 3, but I thought of one more. The weather changing, guys. The fish are moving, and they know, just like humans and all other animals, they know that there are changes. Fish know that changes are coming. They start behaving differently, and you can just count on something new happening. All summer long, they're in this summer pattern, but once fall starts showing up and we got water temperatures dropping, these fish start changing behavior. I feel like they get more crazy. They're all over the place, and they're more willing to start feeding up because they know winter's coming. So I think just that change, those fish feel the change just like all living things feel that change coming. So those are the things. Those were all the things that were going for this trip. 4 months off of crappie fishing. I was not feeling confident, but I knew that with those conditions, it helped with my confidence. So I binge watched some YouTube videos on crappie fishing quick, just as a quick reminder to just slow down and reel those jigs as slow as I could. Binge watch YouTube, like I said, crappie fishing video tutorial binge watching, because I just wanted to remind myself of the things that you can do to catch crappie effectively. As it turned out, and you'll see if you tune in on Thursday to my video, we had a heck of a crappie fishing day. It was a lot of fun. We caught the heck out of them, and I couldn't have asked for a better reintroduction to crappie fishing. It was just a wonderful trip. So anyways, I'm going to let you guys go. That video got long again. I'm going to have to cut it down a bit. And I'll see you guys Thursday on the water, because we got a good one coming. So stay tuned. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.